Alright, how's it going everybody? My name is Infamous Isaac. I'm here with a video on video game OSTs, original soundtracks. And the reason why I'm making a video on this in the first place is because I was listening to Bury the Light from Devil May Cry 5, right? This is Virgil's theme. This song almost has 100 million views on YouTube. And this is the first time I ever listened to it, right? Even though my friends talk about it a lot, like it's one of the best songs from video game soundtracks, right? I was like, huh, this got recommended to me. Why not give it a listen, right? Song is almost 10 minutes long, which I'm not a stranger to because I listen to OST soundtracks that are around that length or maybe shorter, maybe longer. So I don't mind it. And giving it a listen for the first time, I was like, oh, I am the storm that is approaching and all that stuff. The things that you see in the memes and all that stuff, because that's where I first heard it. Well, second heard it because I played Devil May Cry 5 and then I saw the memes and all that. And after listening to it, I was like, man, this song is fire. The last 2 minutes of the song just, they really make you feel like Virgil. I feel like I had Yamato on a sheath ready to pull it out and do judgment cuts, bro. It's crazy. But the point of that is basically, I wanted to talk about OSTs because I wanted to share some of my favorite ones with you guys and also hear what you guys like or prefer in a video game soundtrack, but also which ones are your favorites as well. Because there's a lot, for as many video games as there are, they're bound to have music because you need music in the video game. So music is essential in life. As long as people, living things, beings, the universe has sound, music will be a part of it. Whether it's simple tapping on a rock, clapping your hands, snapping, whistling, anything like that, to crazy intricate instrumentation, whether it's from the 60s, any time period, 2023 with the Spider-Verse soundtrack or anything that you prefer, right? Music will always be an essential part of life. And with entertainment, especially, it's intrinsically bound. It doesn't mean that sound and music are the same thing. Sound design, sound effects, and music are all different. And that's why like there's their own like categories for them and their own groups that work on it, right? In a project. So with movies, shows, and games, they all are handled differently. While they do have similarities, video games are meant to have music as like a this is the background track to what you're doing in that game. So let's say you're playing an action game, right, like Metal Gear Solid Rising Revengeance, and you're playing Raiden. You're just going through doing a hack and slash, slashing everybody, and Jack the Ripper, going crazy on them, right? And imagine if you had a soft melody playing the entire time. It doesn't fit. That's a complete contrast. But then you remember songs like It Has to Be This Way, and you're just going crazy, you're banging your head, you're feeling the energy from the track. Music in its entirety is meant to match what's going on and what you're doing. And with movies and stuff like that, you can get away with using licensed tracks, but video games don't tend to do that unless if it's important to the game or if it's like an introduction or whatever. Some games do. I'm not trying to say that it doesn't happen, but most of the time people just go with making their own tracks or getting people to make own new tracks for this game. So it is handled a little differently. But regardless, with background tracks in games, they all have to fit the mood and event of what you're doing, especially if it's games where you control a character or you're doing something, right? If it's like a visual novel or like a reading game like that, or it's simpler where you're not like having combat or stuff like that, that's where all the tracks change to fit that mood, right? If it's something hype, it's gonna be something hype. And if it's a sadder moment, you're gonna have somber tracks. And if it's just like a normal happy track, you're gonna have like the Super Mario Bros. Wii type music with the ba ba da 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 dun 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 type stuff, right? They all fit a niche, and they're trying to get you invested in the game subtly with the music. Because if it doesn't fit, you're gonna be really just scratching your head like, man, this game is really fire, but the music sucks. Or this game is really fire, but the music just doesn't fit. Or vice versa, where the music is great, but the game doesn't fit at all. Like imagine if you were playing Scribblenauts and then you just had Dark Souls music playing the entire time. It's like, man, what am I doing, bro? What's going on? But to boil it down, video game music is just as important as any other facet of a game, whether it's the story, the gameplay itself, the way that the game's built so it doesn't bug out all the time, the sound effects, stuff like that, right? Video game music helps bring it together so that it's all one giant important experience that the player will love from start to finish. And that's why you'll have people that'll pick out songs from a video game track and just be like, man, this is a heater. I'm gonna put it in a playlist, especially with streaming services. And that leads me to my next topic of video game OSTs that really stick out to me. So I'm bound to miss a lot of tracks that people consider good or iconic or legendary, but I'm just gonna name off a few companies and games that have really popular and iconic songs, or at the very least, are bound to make popular songs. So let's start off with Nintendo, right? You have like Mario, have The Legend of Zelda, games like that where they just always have iconic songs that you can think of if you played those games or if you've been on the internet long enough to recognize them, because media is influenced by what you hear. Like you can have a video game like essay or a normal video where all of a sudden you hear dry docks in the background for some reason. It's like, wow, this is nothing to do with Mario, but a Mario song got into it, and that's so cool. Like it's complete, like no correlation. Nintendo has that effect on people where they can just make good songs, and I'm generalizing. I'm not going into the nitty gritty, so I'm sorry about that. But overall, I'm just taking like a cursory glance over it. You have Nintendo, you have Sega with like Sonic or Knights or any property like Yakuza that they have under their belt where they just produce banger after banger. Like one Yakuza song that comes to mind immediately is Nishiki's song from Yakuza Kiwami, and you also have Kuze's song Pledge of the Demon from Yakuza 0. And one of my friends, he's a super big like Yakuza fan, and he just has like all of the songs that he loves. Yeah, of like Atlas with Persona and like Shin Megami Tensei, where a lot of people love Persona because of the music, especially Persona 5. Persona 5 knocked it out the park with the OST. But all of them usually have a great soundtrack, so you can always pull that apart from those games. Yeah, FromSoft with their games. I never played a FromSoft game, so I can't speak to the gameplay either. But the music that they have is pretty impactful, pretty important to people. They love it. It's good. It's orchestral, and it just fits the themes of the games, right? Whether it's Bloodborne, Dark Souls, Elden Ring, Sekiro, all these type of things, right? Maybe even Armored Core. I don't even know. Yeah, I have Capcom, which is one I'm very familiar with because Capcom, you don't realize it until you look at it, but they have a lot of games. Like you have Ace Attorney, you have Devil May Cry, you have Resident Evil, all these games, right? And they all have their own Mega Man too, Mega Man as well, where they all just have their crazy themes and tracks. Like Devil May Cry has a lot of fans with their songs. You have, for me, Ace Attorney being my favorite ones, mostly because of the great Ace Attorney with the songs that they have. It's just really good. I have a playlist of just a bunch of songs, and the great Ace Attorney is one of them. Like a lot of the songs from those games are in my playlist. It's so fire. Some of my favorite ones though, like Minecraft, is more of like a, this is my favorite game of all time, right? Like I try to make that clear whenever I talk about games. I don't play many, but Minecraft is definitely my favorite game ever. And one of the reasons is because the music is amazing, right? This music for Minecraft is so fitting for the world that you're in, whether it's haunting, daunting, scary, cool, relaxed, tranquil, and soothing. Minecraft just has such an amazing soundtrack that sticks with you. If you played Minecraft for a long time, you can recognize a lot of the songs. And that's the best part about it. An OST can enhance the experience so much. One of those games that I believe does that is the Xenoblade Chronicles series, a game series that I've never played, right? Never ever have played, but I have watched multiple playthroughs of because I love it so much, right? Like the story, the characters, the gameplay, I can't speak to it, but the soundtrack, oh my goodness. The soundtrack is amazing. One, two, three. I can't speak to X because I haven't seen anything on it, but every time I go through those games and just watch them, I always find new tracks to listen to. Xenoblade 2 had the most tracks for me because I haven't gone through Xenoblade 3's like track list extensively, but 1 and 2 have some amazing songs for sure. And even in 3 I pulled out like 2 tracks immediately. Like Xenoblade Chronicles 1 title theme, amazing song. Amazing song. Always just gets me nostalgic and emotional over a game I've never played. There's songs of Xenoblade 2 as well, like More Ardain and the Letherian Archipelago, Uriah at Nighttime, Tomorrow with You, I think is what it's called, After Sadness and Despair, or Hope and Despair, I think is what it's called as well. I'm sorry if I'm butchering them. There's just a bunch of them. There's like also the Naruto Ninja Storm series with how amazing the songs are, because Naruto just has amazing music in general, but the games really do a good job of following that up with making their own songs. And you would think like they would just use licensed Naruto tracks, but nah, they make their own songs and it's really good. One series that I was looking through my playlist and I forgot to mention, Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts has amazing music, dog. Like, oh my gosh. Kingdom Hearts is one of the first games that I've ever seen, right? And their music has stuck with me for so long. Like Xemnas' final boss theme from Kingdom Hearts 2 has been in my rotation for the longest time and probably will never fall out of rotation. There's so many songs because there's so many games and they all just hit. Every single game always has one song, no matter what, that will just always get you, you know? Whether it's hype, whether it's sadness, like Lord of the Castle from, I don't even remember, but the game with Castle Oblivion, and I forgot what the name was called. That song has been in a rotation for years, for as long as I heard it in the Remind DLC. It's like, man, what a song. Every time it just takes me away into a mystical, beautiful world that I could just imagine. It takes me to like the Disney castle that's in the Walt Disney logo. And it's just so mystical, man. Music really does that to you. It can take you away to faraway lands, drift you away into your own mind. And you just see things, you know? It makes you imagine things. And that goes for any music, period, you know? Because it makes you feel things, so it's gonna go doubly for your imagination at the end of the day, right? But that's only just a few short games that I could think of, and just a short list in general. Let me know down below what songs you guys really like, or OSTs in general that really get you when you listen to them, whether it's because you played it, because you watched it, or because you heard it and never played or watched it, you know? Let me know down below because this is a super interesting topic to me because music, in the end of the day, is universal. Whether you speak English or Spanish, both, none, no matter what language you speak, Mandarin, who knows, right? You can always listen to music and get a guttural, visceral reaction from it, and just feel what the composer was thinking of, and just overall what the game is about, you know? Especially if it's a good song. But yeah, thank y'all for watching. I just wanted to get that off my mind. Hope y'all enjoy, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.